back, and if you're new, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Amanda.
And today we are finally going to be reading Ace of Spades.
You guys voted for this one, so we are so excited to finally read it. We've heard so many great things about it. We are going into it completely blind, so we have no idea what it's about.
We will be dividing this video up into chapters, so if you do want to read along with us, you can stop whenever we stop to discuss and give you guys updates. I honestly don't know what to expect. I kind of get like dark academia vibe. Flipping through the book, part 1 is 15 chapters, so maybe we'll stop around chapter 7 to kind of just give an update, see where our thoughts are. I guess we'll go ahead and start reading, and we will update you guys on chapter 7. Chapter 7, and I took notes. There's a lot just in this first 7 chapters. Not really what I was expecting. It's a lot more YA than I thought.
You have like the quiet kid, and then you
like
have the really popular girl.
Right. We start off with Devon. We're in his point of view. It's the first day back. It's his senior year, and they have the school assembly. It's basically just like a presentation that they do. They announce the school prefects for the year. I think it's essentially just a student council. Devon is like a quiet kid. He's there on scholarship. Kind of just keeps to himself. Only has one best friend named Jack. When they announce the prefects, there's like all these really popular kids, and then him. He doesn't know why he's nominated. And then they have one head prefect, which is like, I guess, the top dog of the school.
The head prefect goes to Chiamaka, who is our second POV.
She's like the queen bee. The difference is she's very confident, determined.
He kind of has doubts of being there. Like, he feels weird about being there. Queen Bee over here is like, I run this school. This is like, my school.
I worked for this.
I worked for this.
And I'm at the top.
Yeah, love that.
We're at this assembly. The prefects are like announced, and they sit down to watch this presentation apparently that they watch every year, and they show the school values. I wrote them down, but I even wrote down like each of the letters, thinking it was gonna like spell something. It doesn't.
Before they turned on the PowerPoint, there was a second where the Ace of Spades card was just shown,
and Devon was even like, that's new, like what is that?
He was very confused, looking around. Everyone else seemed content with it, like no problem at all.
And so I was like, what is that about?
Even his best friend, right? He said he looked at Jack like, what the heck? And Jack was just like, nothing.
I was like, that's weird already.
Yeah.
I would have known.
I was getting like Get Out vibes. He should have known right then and there.
They call Chiamaka Chi. So if you hear us saying Chi, that's who we're talking about. But she has one really close friend. His name is Jamie. They've been friends for a while.
She really likes him.
She really likes him. She says he's a legacy kid, which just means that his parents are really powerful. They are like Nevis Academy alumni. They donate to the school.
Very important people to this school.
We see in Devon's point of view, he walks out into the hallway and people are looking at him, and he's thinking maybe it's because I'm a school prefect now. People are starting to notice me. But then a girl comes up to him. She shows him her phone, and it's this text, mass text that's sent out. He realizes it's him, and it was just leaked. The text underneath says Aces. So at first I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be another One of Us is Lying, Pretty Little Liars.
Oh, Gilmore Girls. Not Gilmore Girls, I meant Gossip Girl.
And at first I was like, oh, this is kind of cliche, but we'll see. As soon as this scene happened, I was like, oh, I need to tab this book, because I was in this WTF moment. Chiamaka and Jamie have this talk together. She has this flashback, and something happens that was so unexpected.
I was not expecting that either.
I literally had to stop for a second.
I had to reread.
Now that we know there's this anonymous texter spilling secrets, I'm like, girl, you cannot have something like this under your belt. A lot happened.
Right off the bat, I'm like, Jamie did it. Jamie is ace.
I don't trust anyone we meet.
Yeah.
I could see how maybe Chiamaka has a lot of enemies per se, people that would want to get revenge or whatever. But Devon, like, it's just him and Jack. Why is he involved at all?
So now we are going to read till chapter 15, which is the end of part 1. I think as the book goes on, we're just gonna be like, oh, you're ace.
Right.
No, you're ace.
Any character that they introduce. But it's interesting so far. So much is happening. ending, and I can't believe this was just barely the end of part 1.
She invites Jamie and Belle to come over to her house and watch a movie. Then when they leave, she saw a piece of paper that was crumpled up on the floor, and she picks it up and sees that it was a code 1717, and she figures that it's Jamie's because he always writes down his pins.
I was like, that's gonna mean something.
That is definitely gonna mean something later.
I don't trust Belle at all. I feel like Belle is part of their past, Jamie and Cheese, and they just don't realize it's her.
Devon's
getting it worse.
He's getting it so much
Yes.
worse than Chiamaka. And it's just like, why? Who cares so much? Let him live.
They also say that Devon and Chiamaka are the only not white people there, and they're the only 2 people being targeted.
That's why it kind of feels like it's more than just one person.
I didn't even think that. I'm just like, is this racially motivated or not?
I think
like, is that what it is? Devon gets beat up by all of Dre's guys. He's beaten down and he wakes up in this stranger's house, which is terrifying already.
Yeah.
It's this little guy named Terrell. So random. He finds out that Terrell and him, I guess, went to middle school together. And Terrell was like, oh, like, you don't remember me, but you were always really nice to me. And Devon's like,
Devon has no memory.
No idea.
Okay, so that was the end of part 1.
That was the end of part 1.
That was a lot.
Much. I honestly have no solid leads right now because I have no one person that I'm like, it's them. And
it's just multiple people.
It could be multiple people. That's a really good theory. Like, I could see that happening and that would make sense. I don't trust anyone, but right now there are so many plot holes that I hope get addressed or resolved. I also hope the person or people have a legitimate reason.
It's not. It's gonna be because of the color of their skin.
Dude, I hope not.
It has to be because they're the only ones who are dealing with this. Okay, so since there are 3 parts, I think the next update we're just gonna finish part 2 and then see where we're at, do a little update at part 2. We just finished part 2.
I feel like this part 2 really answered it all for me. I almost think the book could end now because everything makes sense. So back in chapter 16, Belle all of a sudden like wants to be friends with Chiamaka, right? It's really weird. Chiamaka's kind of like, well, I don't really have any friends anymore anyway, so sure. They start hanging out. I just thought that was really suspicious.
Terrell is just kind of thinking, why haven't you thought that this is racism? So you're telling me this has happened to you and Chiamaka, the only 2 people in the school who are not white, and you haven't thought about that yet? Then Devon is like, yeah, maybe so.
Because he doesn't want to believe that. He's trying to like say, my teacher's cool and this one guy is okay. And Terrell's just kind of like, you know what I thought was weird? In chapter 18, Belle comes over to Chiamaka's house again. Chiamaka notices Belle's shirt and she said, oh, like the Camp Nevis thing like reflected in the light, and it reminded me of how Jamie's used to. And I was immediately like, okay, connection. I don't know if this means anything, but like if Jamie has the shirt and Belle has the shirt, they both went to the same camp. Maybe they're like plotting something. I don't know.
Devon and Chi are like, we have to figure out what's going on. So Chi ends up hiring this tech guy.
Chiamaka goes up to him and is like, hey, I need information. Try to find whatever you can.
He tells them that he tracked the messages and knows that they are being sent from the school library at computer 17.
Which, hello. 17.
He
also tells them that the messages are input in the computer Sunday and Mondays at 10 p.m. and they're scheduled to release throughout the week at random time. It was just some like unknown profile with a random username and a random password that is like randomized. So immediately with Jamie writing down passwords and pins on random places, why would you need to do that?
Like, they tell us though that he's always writing down his passwords and stuff.
So you know immediately he's either aces or he's part of it.
Like, I've had one password my entire life.
So yes, you were right, definitely. He's part of this.
He is most definitely part of it. It's all Jamie, I'm telling you. Devon and Chi come up with a plan. They're going to hang out at the library and wait until they see the person who is at computer 17 writing all this stuff down.
As they're leaving the library, Devon notices everyone in the hallway is kind of like acting strange and the lights are off. And when they finally turn on, he sees it was a flyer of his and Chiamaka's yearbook photo from junior year next to each other with their eyes all scratched out. That's all you need to know. Like, at that point forward, you're like,
this isn't like school pettiness.
Right. This isn't bullying anymore. This is threats and dangerous. This is when it all goes down.
They follow through with their plan. They go to the library. They're hiding. They're waiting to see Ace come and do his little update.
And Devon sees that the computer is still logged in. So he starts to like read and see what they unlocked. I can't even tell you, my jaw dropped. I'm interested to see what the hell is gonna be in part 3. Help! I need help. So we're gonna read part 3 and then we'll come to you guys with everything that happens at the end and our overall thoughts about the book. But I definitely think this second part was worth it. It just was everything that we needed to answer all the questions. We just finished. I liked it.
I did too.
At first, I think we weren't sure it was going to be anything special just because we've read stories like this, or so we thought in the beginning, and I really liked the way that it turned out.
After every chapter towards part 3, we were like, okay, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. We didn't want to stop and like write our thoughts. Part 3 is just spoilers.
It's just all spoilers. Like, I don't know how to summarize anything that happened without giving anything away.
The story was crazy.
I'm really impressed with how it ended up because I was really worried in the beginning, I won't lie.
I started crying at one point.
In the beginning?
No.
Oh, like in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really nothing more we can say that's not a spoiler. So overall, this was a fun book to buddy read.
It was.
It was like a lot of important messages too.
Definitely. I definitely think this is one everyone should read. It touches on so many different topics and important things that need to be talked about. And I think it was done so well. It was entertaining. There was that mystery aspect. It had like the shock factor.
Yeah. I definitely think somebody needs to send this to Jordan Peele.
That would be such a crazy movie adaptation.
If you have not read it yet, we highly recommend it.
Especially if you liked any type of other YA mystery thrillers. One of Us is Lying. This is so much better.
Honestly, we highly recommend this book. If you have not read it yet, please go read it and then come back and watch our spoilers because we are ready to talk about it. If you have not read it yet, please skip to this timestamp
now, because you will hear some spoilers.
Yes, we are ready to talk.
The big reveal that happened at the end of part 2, Devon was the only one who knew about it, so he finally told Chiamaka everything he found. They decide, let's take it to the press. I just feel like you can't trust anyone in a situation like that. We had the music teacher showing his true colors. That whole scene was awful.
It was scary.
It was scary, and also just, it's so out of left field. Like, why now is the teacher comfortable showing his true colors?
Like, did you guys all have a conversation and be like, okay, now
it's go time now.
Crazy now.
She's going through the yearbooks. She sees Camp Aces. She ends up seeing a photo of these group of guys in uniforms, and one of them is the headmaster.
Belle posted a photo on Facebook. She does some snooping and sees that somebody commented, this girl named Martha, and she goes and clicks on the picture, and what do you know? We called that it's her sister. It's Belle's sister was the girl.
I was like, explain. And what do you know? It's Belle's sister.
Okay, it's Belle's sister, and Belle's sister is the girl that she and Jamie had their accident with. That was completely set up. Once she was hiding behind the family picture, we were like, either she's related to the headmaster or
she's related to that girl. Yes. We thought we were on something. We thought we were onto something with that whole Terrell part. Roll the clip. Roll the clips of us freaking out.
You guys.
Oh my.
We're like freaking out right here.
Oh my god, I got chills.
The school was founded in 1717. Isn't it more than a coincidence that the computer they use and do all this shit on is computer 17? The way it didn't hit me, I'm like, what? Yeah, it is. And he's like, how did you know that?
He said, you must have told me. And he said, I didn't.
Oh, no.
I knew it. I was like, why are you telling Terrell everything? Why are you saying anything to him? Why can't I remember you, Terrell?
Chapter 31 had us so messed up.
We thought we were onto something good. Like, this is it. This is the plot twist.
They should have left that in. They should have had us keep guessing for a little while.
Yeah, they should have let that go on longer.
But then he was like, I just looked at the text on your phone.
We're in the bed like... We're like, Terrell!
Chai goes over to Belle's house and she's basically confronting her, saying like, why would you do this to me? I know who your sister is. Belle was saying like, this has been in her family for years.
Excuses.
All excuses. You are old enough to know.
Yeah. And then she's like, but I have feelings for you. Like, girl.
Yeah. Dre is in jail. Devon goes and visits him. He notices that his jumpsuit is orange and some of the other people's, like his dad when he went to visit him years ago, was white. So he kind of just asked like, what does that mean? Dre was telling him that the white suits mean that they're on death row.
As soon as I read that, I was like, no!
Oh my gosh, no, please. Devon's dad was on death row and he had passed away years ago, and not only that, but it was on the day that he went to go visit him.
Right.
The last time he went to go visit him was the day that his dad passed. So his dad had tried to make it like, don't come here anymore, I don't want you to come talk to me, I want you to stay away from this place, like just
he didn't want to
making it seem like I don't want to see you anymore.
And I needed that closure of him talking to his mom about it too, and we didn't get that. There was a bunch of little things that I feel like we could have gotten more on.
Same thing with Jack. It was like exactly what Belle said, like she was raised like this, but it's different because Jack was there just like Jamie from the very beginning, like that was your best friend, and they completely backstabbed you. I started crying in that chapter just because Devon was saying that he was letting him hit him, which is sad because there's a little part in you that knows how wrong.
Exactly.
How wrong you are.
And he knows he deserved it.
Yeah.
And he was just letting it happen.
She was saying she wanted to tell the reporter. Devon wasn't too sure about it.
Because why would you be?
Honestly, why would you trust
if the whole
reporter?
school is in on it and it's been going on for decades, you can't trust anyone. Devon ends up tweeting about it, as you should.
He should have Instagram lived it. The fact that so many people, because of that tweet, like saw it.
And it resonated with so many people that they took it into their own hands as well.
I literally started crying at that.
I love that social media does have that kind of impact.
The power of social media.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad he did that.
I'm so glad it went viral.
Right.
If it hadn't gone viral, that would have ended really badly.
There was a whole chapter of Jamie just being Jamie. He said, "Are you in love with me?" Like, pull a full Regina George, like.
It's like you're in love with me or something.
Disgusting. He got what he deserved. The fire, the school burned as it should.
The headmaster putting a gun to Chee's head. Ew. That whole part, I was like, this is disgusting.
The protesters came out, saved the day. It served as a distraction. My thing is, like, where does everyone relocate? Because the kids gotta go to school.
Oh, God.
You're now taking all of these racist individuals and spreading them out. I also loved the epilogue. I thought it was so sweet. 16 years in the future, I think. And you see, like, where they are now, what they're doing. And it's so heartwarming. Like, I'm so happy.
I'll cry right now.
The fact that they have started a program to reach out to all of these students that are receiving scholarships from these private schools. And that made me so happy. Because it is like, what are you going to do to stop it from happening again? And they gave us that.
I loved how it said, yours sincerely, Dr. Chiamaka and Professor Devon. I loved that Devon
Ended up with Terrell.
Terrell are still together.
And then she ends up, like, the headmaster's in her hands, basically. Just drain him out.
Slowly.
I'm glad we finally read this one. Comment down below if you have read it, what your thoughts on it are. And if you have any suggestions for what we should buddy read next month, before we, like, start deciding to put something on the poll, we're up for suggestions. We might end up putting Project Hail Mary, or we might just retire it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we just have to read it on our own time. Overall, we do recommend this book. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we do put out new videos every Wednesday and Friday, so if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.